Greetings, everyone. Please come in and join us. We're going to get started in 5 minutes. Good afternoon, good late afternoon. Hello and welcome to the 2022 Borlaug Field Award ceremony. Thank you all for being here. We are so pleased you're joining us in the celebration of the accomplishments of a very special young researcher in the field of agriculture. And you can see that he is with us on screen tonight. This ceremony caps off an absolutely full day of Borlaug dialogue. Thank you all so much, the panelists, the speakers, the great questions, the participants in the breakout sessions and side events throughout. We want to start by acknowledging first Paul Schickler. He's the chair of the board of the World Food Prize Foundation. Thank you for being here. I also want to acknowledge the Ruan family. I believe Janice Ruan is here with us today. Janice? Christine. Rachel McLean, John Ruan IV, and Janice, they are all, Rachel and John serve on our board, but the entire family has just been so supportive, and without your support, not only would this award not be possible, we would not be where we are today with the World Food Prize Foundation. In past years, the Borlaug Field Award ceremony took place in the beautiful World Food Prize Hall of Laureates. It's just a few blocks away from here if you haven't been there. John Ruan III and Janice Ruan were visionaries and leaders behind the innovation of this amazing building. Formerly, it was the Des Moines Public Library, and now it's the home of the World Food Prize. John led a $36 million fundraising effort to turn this historic building into our home. Excuse me. And our senior vice president, Mashal Hussain. Mashal. There, where is she? Where is she? She put her hard hat on, literally, and oversaw the day-to-day construction as one of her first projects starting with the foundation. It went on for 3 years. Mashal recently celebrated her 14th anniversary with the World Food Prize and has received a wonderful promotion. She's now Senior Vice President. Thank you, Mashal, for all of your hard work, the experience that you bring to us, that you share with me and the whole staff. She has helped to structure this entire event. Mashal, I know she's here somewhere. If you've not already been there, I encourage you to visit the Hall of Laureates. You will hear from one of our amazing docents. We have an entire cadre of volunteer docents who know the history and operation of the organization, the history of the hall, and they'll be so pleased to give you a full tour of the artwork and the architectural design and all that was created around the central theme of agriculture, the history of agriculture, and honoring our food heroes. And of course, you'll see a fabulous portrait of Dr. Norman Borlaug. It hangs in the Borlaug Ballroom, and just know that the spirit of Dr. Borlaug, his work is alive. It's alive every day and well here in this audience and in this room. I also want to thank Jeannie Borlaug-Lobby and Julie Borlaug. They're both here with us, and it's just such a special occasion when we get to celebrate another recipient of this award because it bears, of course, your father and your grandfather's name. Julie joined our Council of Advisors last year, and we're so glad to have her wisdom, her vision, her guidance on the council. I want to start this evening with a special acknowledgement for our 2020 Borlaug Field Award winner, Dr. Salma Sultana. Dr. Sultana? Dr. Sultana received the Borlaug Field Award at a virtual ceremony in 2020. Many of you, I'm sure, saw it. And travel restrictions made it impossible for her to be with us last year. So we're so pleased you were able to be here this year with a narrow escape, but also being withheld. So it's just really important to have amongst us our Borlaug Field Award winners as we honor the next awardee. We also have our 2014 Borlaug Field Award recipient, Bram Gewertz. Bram's the Director General of CIAT, and thank you again, traveling from Mexico. We so appreciate you being with us. Tomorrow, you'll hear from our very first Borlaug Field Award winner, This is Aditi Mukherjee. She will join us as a virtual panelist on the roundtable, Pathways for a Just Transition. Of course, we're so excited to honor Dr. Mahalingam Govindaraj. He is here today. Welcome, Govind. He traveled halfway around the world to be with us in person, and unfortunately, he has to be in isolation today. But you look wonderful. And he can see us, so that's good. Yes, we miss having you in person so much, but we're so pleased that you're able to join virtually. And of course, we can all pivot to this so easily because we've been in practice for 2.5 years. So we're so pleased to elevate your work and your accomplishments, and it'll be a lovely night, and we hope to have you, hope to be able to meet you at some time later or certainly next year. I want to thank Catherine Bertini and Ronnie Kaufman for joining me to present this award. Catherine represents the Rockefeller Foundation in this capacity. The Rockefeller Foundation endowed the Borlaug Field Award in 2011. In addition to being the 2003 World Food Prize laureate, Catherine was Rockefeller Foundation Fellow and is now Managing Director for Global Nutrition Security. Her career has been dedicated to improving the efficiency and operations of so many organizations that serve poor and hungry people all over the world. She's especially supportive in the role of women and girls in leadership and in influencing change on their behalf. She's worked over 25 years in the private sector, 13 years as a university professor, many years with major foundations and think tanks, and has served in local, state, and national governments and as a board member in many capacities. She's now the chair of the board of the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. And she serves as chair of the board of Crop Trust, and she's a distinguished fellow at the Chicago Council of Global Affairs. She was named champion of one of the champions of the 2021 United Nations Food Systems Summit. Catherine, I want to welcome you and thank you for being with us today on behalf of the Rockefeller Foundation.
Thank you very much, Barbara, and good evening to everybody. It's been a pleasure to be so close to the Borlaug Field Award ceremonies for all these 11 years, and today to represent the Rockefeller Foundation, because it was in 2011 that the World Food Prize was celebrating its 25th anniversary, and the Rockefeller Foundation was celebrating their centennial, and that is when the foundation announced a $1 million commitment to create this award honoring Dr. Borlaug. This award, the Norman E. Borlaug Award for Field Research and Application, we call, obviously, the Borlaug Field Award. And we're thrilled that every year the World Food Prize Foundation makes this award. It recognizes exceptional science-based achievement in international agriculture and food production by an individual under the age of 40. That means a very young person. The awardees emulate the same intellectual courage, the stamina, the determination to fight to eliminate global hunger and poverty as Dr. Borlaug exhibited as a young scientist for the Rockefeller Foundation in Mexico in the 1940s and 1950s. Importantly, this award recognizes a person who is working closely and directly in the field or at the production and processing level with farmers and with others in rural communities and across any discipline and the entire food system. You know, we often talk about Dr. Borlaug's words, take it to the farmer, and that's certainly a maxim of this Borlaug Field Award. What the 11 award recipients have accomplished is truly inspiring. They are championing gender-supported activities, global agriculture research, working across disciplines to ensure women farmers and scientists are fairly represented in the lab, in the field, and at the table. They are safeguarding soils, water, and natural resources, producing more with less to help lift smallholder farmers out of poverty. They are innovating models for providing services, outreach, and education to thousands of small-scale farmers. Like Dr. Sultana, who founded Bangladesh's first vocational training institute for livestock service providers and its first non-government outdoor veterinary hospital. She is a perfect example. Congratulations, Dr. Sultana, again on your award. And of course, this year's recipient, Dr. Govindaraj, who is bringing nutrition to a new prominence in crop breeding programs and national agriculture agendas, is another wonderful example of this fine work of these young scientists. Doctor, you have our admiration and our congratulations on this very deserved honor. You are truly following in Dr. Borlaug's footsteps. We know that you will continue your great work wherever it takes you, and that so many people will benefit from your work. Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for those remarks. Ronnie Kaufman has dedicated himself to helping smallholder farmers with scarce resources whose lives are frequently bypassed by agricultural science and innovation. Dr. Kaufman is vice chair of the Borlaug Global Rust Initiative and principal investigator for a wide range of international projects focused on food security and global development. He is one of the longest serving members of the World Food Prize Council of Advisors, having joined in 2008. He's also has the distinction of being Dr. Borlaug's only PhD student, and was there with him the day that he got the news that he was receiving the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1970. If you haven't heard the story, you have to ask. Ronnie knows that the platform of this prestigious award can elevate careers and spotlight the issues awardees are passionate to solve. He brings all of his experience, including over 40 years on the faculty of Cornell University, empowering young researchers. He brings it to his role as chair of our Borlaug Field Award jury. This year, Ronnie was named Professor Emeritus at Cornell University. Ronnie, we are so pleased to have you here today. Thank you, and please.
Do you want some water? I poured that for you.
Thank you, Barbara. Got to get to my page here. So it has been my real honor to serve as the chair of the Borlaug Field Award jury for these past 11 years. Each year, it's a difficult decision. The quality of the nominations we receive is very high and climbing even higher. And that's reflected in the caliber of the cohort of Borlaug Field Award recipients, some of whom are here with us. Dr. Mahalingam Govindaraj is this year's recipient, and of course, he's no exception when it comes to the high quality. Dr. Govindaraj, a senior scientist at HarvestPlus and the Alliance of Bioversity International and CIAT, has been a dedicated leader in crop development and nutrition for over a decade. Beginning in 2011, while working at ICRISAT, Dr. Govindaraj began transforming the process for breeding pearl millet. Pearl millet is a staple food crop most often cultivated by smallholder farmers in dryland areas and accessible to those with low income. Dr. Govindaraj created a strategy for increasing the micronutrient content of pearl millet through selective breeding, a process we call biofortification. Biofortification has become a keystone strategy for reducing vitamin and mineral deficiencies in low and middle income countries. Having come from a farming background himself, Dr. Govindaraj saw that biofortification of pearl millet could have a strong positive impact on the nutrition and health of rural communities. This strategy would go a long way toward ensuring that smallholder farmers in dry regions and on marginally productive lands would receive adequate nutrition for them and their families. In just 3 short years, Dr. Govindaraj was able to release Don Akshakti, I hope I pronounced it correctly, the world's first biofortified pearl millet. Since its release in 2014, more than 120,000 farming households in India have started growing Don Akshakti, and it's estimated that by 2024, more than 9 million people in India will be consuming iron and zinc-rich pearl millet and reaping the health benefits of better nutrition. Dr. Govindaraj's scientific expertise and active collaboration with the Indian Council of Agricultural Research led to India becoming the first country in the world to commit to iron and zinc standards as core traits in their national cultivar release policy. Pearl millet became the first crop in which minimum levels of these essential micronutrients became mandated, as it is estimated that India loses over $12 billion annually to micronutrient deficiencies. This was a significant policy milestone in advancing a nutrition-sensitive food system. However, Dr. Govindaraj didn't stop in India. Like Dr. Norman Borlaug, Dr. Govindaraj was determined to help smallholder farmers all over the world. In 2019, he released the first biofortified pearl millet in West Africa. With over 20,000 hectares planted, it has become the predominant variety grown in the region. The development of over 10 significant high iron, high zinc pearl millet cultivars in India and Africa would not have been possible without the unflagging efforts of Dr. Govindaraj. In an ever-changing and fast-paced world, Dr. Govindaraj stood up to the challenges by establishing a rapid, cost-effective micronutrient screening facility for finger millet, sorghum, and pearl millet. He also developed an online portal for use of the facility by partners, allowing for better and faster collaboration. Dr. Govindaraj recognizes the importance of strong public-private partnerships. He built a network of more than 25 public and private sector partners for disseminating biofortified pearl millet seeds to farmers in India. He played a key role in facilitating an agreement between the national agricultural research systems and seed companies for large-scale production of pearl millet hybrids, modeling a proactive method for seed dissemination of public-bred hybrids. Dr. Govindaraj's research outputs have convinced the international pearl millet research community to accept biofortification and mainstream nutrition traits in all breeding programs. The effect of Dr. Govindaraj's persistence can be seen throughout sub-Saharan Africa, including Kenya, Zimbabwe, Sudan, Niger, Nigeria, and Senegal, among others. More than 1,000 advanced high iron lines result. My voice is actually normally like that.
I know. Hopping.
High iron lines resulting from his research have been shared with public and private sector breeders for use in crop development programs. Emulating Dr. Borlaug's example of understanding the importance of local circumstances, Dr. Govindaraj reaches across many different cultures to identify the needs of communities and connect them with partners. He has a serendipitous connection to Dr. Borlaug through his PhD mentor, Dr. K.N. Rai. Dr. Borlaug met and worked with Dr. Rai on developing improved pearl millet varieties. Dr. Rai shared that experience with Dr. Govindaraj in his PhD mentorship, and it now comes full circle as Dr. Govindaraj receives this award named in honor of Dr. Borlaug. With experience passed down from Dr. K.N. Rai and Norman Borlaug, Dr. Govindaraj has successfully led agricultural professionals, field researchers, and practitioners working collaboratively to revitalize communities and reduce hunger, malnutrition, and poverty. His tireless work across disciplines, geographies, and communities has resulted in improved nutrition for thousands of families and enhanced livelihoods for smallholder farmers across India and Africa. For all these reasons, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Mahalingam Govindaraj as the 2022 recipient of the Borlaug Field Award. Congratulations, Dr. Govindaraj. Congratulations, and I now invite you to make your comments.
Good evening, all. Due to the G by E effect, the always breeders are challenged. So I am today challenged to be isolated. So thank you very much, Dr. Kaufman, giving the nice introduction. Even myself known many facts from you that this is a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Ellen and Barbara, for all the arrangements. This is a great honor for me and all the youngsters who really work hard in the field, probably most importantly towards the application, but less but needy publication. So I privileged to speak in front of all the people, the visionary leaders today. So I must express my sincere thanks to the selection committee chair and the members of the jury for this great honor. So I thank the Rockefeller Foundation for this endowment, this award, as well as the World Food Prize Foundation staff for their great tireless work and supporting the legacy of Dr. Norman Borlaug. So I immensely thank Dr. Jacqueline, DG of ICRISAT, and Dr. Howdy Boys, Dr. Wolfgang Pfeiffer from HarvestPlus. They are nominated me for this global award. So I was born into a marginal farming family in Tanjore district of Tamil Nadu, of the Tamil Nadu states of India. So we were 4 children. I was the second. So my parents used to work more than 10 to 12 hours and sometime under the moonlight in the farm. Every day they have to work to at least to send one of the child to go to the graduate level from the school. So I was very much greatly shaped from my parents' hard work, and with a very less fewer resource, but more blessing, and more love and more sacrifice from them to get the first graduation from my family. So therefore, so I thank my parents, and first of all, and I also would like to thank my wife, Mallar. She is the greatest support for me every day to keep my work and work-life balance. And also my 2 kids, Kavipriya is my daughter, Steven Harsh is my son. They're always get energy for me to work beyond my level. So I proudly say today that I secured the first graduation in agriculture using the farmer category because my father is a farmer. So my master and PhD work I did on the millet, especially in the biofortification trait, not only in iron and zinc and also other micronutrients and vitamins. So I proudly say that I continued after that the millet program almost 14 years now. So I achieved this because of the long-term experience. The ultimate goal of plant breeding, we understood, and everyone know that, is to breeding for people's food and also for the well-being. But today, there is a gradual gap is increasing. So the current food crop production and also the nutrition requirement must go hand in hand. So that's what my research and my team research is aiming to communicate to the world community. Therefore, nutrition trade must be a core trade without any negotiation because the breeder also responsible for the well-being of the next generation, especially the rural area, who really depends upon the stable food crops. Today, the data reported that many reports you can see 3 billion people suffering from inadequate nutrition, where the proven biofortification technology is ready to scale, then let us not be biased in consulting, in funding, in scaling genetic gain just for yield alone. Genetic gains are equally important for yield and nutrition to serve the purpose and save the cost of the expenditure associated with that. Therefore, receiving this award, receiving this global award is not possible because I'm not worked alone. There are many people helped, many partners are involved. So I would like to acknowledge and thank them, especially my mentor, PhD mentor, K.N. Rai, who sown the seed of millet biofortification, and my millet breeding team and colleagues, especially Prakash from Africa and S.K. Gupta from India in the millet program. I would like to thank them. I thank the national partner, Indian Council of Agriculture Research and State Agriculture University, both in India as well as in Western and Central Africa, for the trusted product-oriented partnership, and some of the proactive private sector like Nirmal Seed and the State Seed Corporation from Maharashtra and Karnataka states of India. They really helped to disseminate the seed faster to the farmers. So I acknowledge Deputy Director General Crop Science ICR and also the National Program Pearl Millet Program Coordinator for accepting and supporting the national minimum standards for iron and zinc in a cultivar release policy. So that's become, India is the first country, pearl millet has become a first crop to implement such kind of, strategic change and policy change. So I acknowledge the HarvestPlus leaders, Dr. Howdy Boyce, Dr. Wolfgang Pfeiffer, and Arun for their continuous support in millet biofortification and giving me the strength to better perform and at every stage. I feel there is some connection, as Dr. Kaufman mentioned, with the Borlaug. So my PhD supervisor, K.N. Rice, interacted with him in 1990s. So, and after that, Dr. Wolfgang Pfeiffer and as well as Howdy Boyce also very well interacted with Norman Borlaug, but I have 3 connections with them. Today, I feel that. So I received Dr. Borlaug blessing and to have this award, and of course, and your blessing too. So I'm a fan of and also inspired by Dr. Norman Borlaug. He's a food security mission man, and he's always good for that, the food for all and take it to farmers. I'm also fan and inspired by the former president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and who is a nuclear scientist. He always encouraged the youngster, dream higher. So I acknowledge that motivation is always within me. So we all know that Asia and Africa have the great potential for agriculture and rural development. So we are very much in need of the CGR partnership to advance, to scale up the research for development, especially for the food and nutritional security. So biofortified crops play a key role in school meals in these 2 regions. But today we can also use that potentially can be benefited in the Western countries, including USA. So I take this recognition as an opportunity to lead the proper deliberation on nutrition mainstreaming in 2023, which is the International Year of Millets, which is focusing diversity, nutrition, and resilience. So therefore, the nutrition mainstreaming contribute the CGR as well as the national agriculture system to complement the Norman Borlaug saying that food for all, and we are making nutritious food for all through mainstreaming. So therefore, let me take this success model along with you all with the support to more crops, to more farmers, to more consumer, to improve the nutrition with a new investment. Thank you all.
Dr. Govindaraj, I think we're all completely moved by your passion, your devotion, and really your vision for scaling up and what you've done so far in your young career. It's absolutely amazing. You are now a small but growing, part of a small but growing cohort of young agricultural scientists and professionals whose path and career has been elevated with this award. Your name will always be associated with Dr. Norman Borlaug. Now, it's a big responsibility, but I can see that there's a lot of enthusiasm in you, and we hope that this will be a tremendous boost to your career. We see that it's happened with past recipients, and we know it'll be true with you as well. We're so pleased that your CEO of HarvestPlus is here, Arun Baral, here with us today. And I know he joins us in celebrating the impact that you've already had with HarvestPlus, also ICRISAT and CIAT. Also, Marco Ferroni is here. Marco? Yes. Marco Ferroni is chair of the CIAT System Board. Thank you so much for joining us this week and for supporting yet another young professional researcher who's doing amazing work within the CIAT system. Thank you all for coming to celebrate Dr. Govindaraj. He is the newest Borlaug Field Award recipient and part of a tremendous cohort. This celebration is not over yet, though. We do have a reception outside for all of you to enjoy, some appetizers, etc. And there's a tremendous poster session if you haven't seen it already. Our dialogue events are going to continue in full swing throughout the evening. But take a look at these posters because young, really master's and PhD candidates have prepared explanations of their research and offered it in presentation, and it's going to be wonderful.
Dr. Govindaraj studied in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. The Vice Chancellor from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University is
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. All three of you. Oh, okay. Say your names again.
I'm Dr. Geeta Lakshmi, the Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, where he got graduated.
I'm Dr. Ramaswamy Kumar, professor at Kansas State University. I also came from the same university. I'm also from the same university, now looking after the Karnataka of examinations. I'm basically an entomologist.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you for being here, and thank you for raising your hand. He's waving. You can't see it, but they're waving to you. This evening will be side events hosted by the Rockefeller Foundation, Environmental Defense Fund, Corteva AgriScience, and the Alliance for African Partnerships, and the regional network of agricultural policy and research institutes. So don't miss these. Tomorrow, we'll see you back here at 9 o'clock in the morning. We start with Roundtable 3. Dr. Govindaraj will be among the panelists, and you'll be right there on the screen, zeroing in on health and nutrition in the climate era. Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Enjoy the posters, and we'll see you in the morning.
Hey, don't leave.
Congratulations.